Coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, we're going to plant some leaf lettuce as well as kohlrabi.
We're going to show you some simple solutions how to get rid of those bugs that may be flying around your grow room.
All that coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. How do you get bugs in your grow room?
You'll see.
All right. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, organic, and heirloom vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil, retains moisture and adds nutrients, which equals less watering. Available in labor-saver, pre-filled trays and pots, bag and bulk. Visit SiouxCompost.com. Organic fertilizer for the health-conscious organic home gardener. Family owned and operated. Visit thewiveggardeners.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew. Visit Minerty.com. No measuring, no thinking. Stamp it, plant it, stop plotting, start planting. Gardenstamp.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. Well, today we're going to plant some leaf lettuce as well as some kohlrabi. Now, kohlrabi is part of the cabbage family. You can plant that during the time where you plant your other brassicas, and you can place it out in the garden about 4 weeks before your last average frost date. As well as we're going to plant some gourmet mixed lettuce. Now, if you follow our first New Gardener series, one of the things we shied away from and encouraged our new gardeners not to do was to start lettuce indoors, because it can be a challenge at times, and it's best if you just direct seed it outside. But we're going to take and going to try to sow some lettuce seeds, some gourmet mixed lettuce seeds in these 12-cell trays here, so we can get a jump start on it when we take it out and transplant it in the garden. In our Growing Indoors series, we've got a bronze lettuce here that we have started, and we just threw the seeds in the cocoa core, and it's growing quite nicely. So it can be done, but I wanted, as a first new gardener, I didn't want to try to get them to plant lettuce indoors and take it outside when it can grow just very easily outdoors in the ground during direct sowing. So with the kohlrabi, we're going to sow it like we normally had. We've pre-soaked it in Minerty.com, which greatly enhances the germination rate by several days, if not a week or so. We're using Sioux's Professional Potting Mix. Just going to pack that down a little bit and soak those, put those in there. There we go, a few left, and top it off a little bit. And that's pretty self-explanatory on that. We've got 2 cups of the kohlrabi there. Kohlrabi is one of the more nutrient-dense vegetables you can grow. The leaves have 3 times more nutrition than the actual bulb does. This is the early white variety of kohlrabi. The bulb will be green, and you'll harvest it when it's about the size of a baseball, which takes about 55 days if all things go correctly. Now with the leaf lettuce, it's a little different type of process. We're not going to sow it in a cup and allow it to come up and then put it in the cells. We're going to direct sow it in the cells, because hopefully in about 4 weeks it's going to look similar to the lettuce here we have in this grow bag, and that will be the time that we'll be able to take it out and place it in the garden, as well as succession planting it, so we have a crop right away, and then in 2 weeks we have another crop, and so on until it gets too warm and it begins to bolt. So what I've done is I have pre-soaked these seeds in Minerty.com, or in Minerty from Minerty.com. So what I'm going to do, and if you've ever seen lettuce seeds, they're on the small side. So I've soaked them for about an hour, and I'm going to pour them on this paper towel. And this way, I can maneuver and take one seed per cell, and that's what I'm going to do here because these are 12 cell trays, so I'll have 24 seeds here. And we should have a very good stand of it. So I'm just going to take one seed at a time, whether you can use tweezers or you can use your fingers if you feel that you can do that adequately, and just barely place it under the soil and cover it up. And I'm going to get all these planted, and we'll come back and we'll talk about how we're going to water these. So now that we got them all planted, I was able to plant another 12 cell tray here, and if I have more in our seed cell tray storage facility there, we'll go ahead and get some more, and we'll try to see how many more seeds we can plant. So one of the things with this lettuce, it's very delicate, it's very small seeds, so we're just going to take our Hudson spray it on a very fine mist. Even though they've been soaking in manure tea, we want to go ahead and hydrate the soil even more so they're fully hydrated all the way around. And then with the kohlrabi that we put in the cups, they were soaking in manure tea, and there was quite a bit of liquid of that, so we're just going to let those naturally dry out, and then we'll water them again. So with the leaf lettuce, it's very simple to grow. It can be a challenge based on the size of the seed and the time-consuming efforts it takes to soak them and then maneuver each seed in a little cell. Whenever you get them out into the garden and you're going to transplant them, they're going to have a root about like that on them, and that's a good size to transplant in the garden. And by doing that, you'll greatly increase the time from planting to harvest with not only leaf lettuce, but any vegetable you start indoors.
So let's talk about some of the bug infestation that you could deal with in your grow room.
Last year we had a very big problem with aphids and a lot of gnats, and there was a reason for that because we wanted to be cheap.
Yes.
We had some containers on the porch that we had potting mix in that we had planted in and grew in all summer long. So we decided, hey, let's go ahead and bring them in, recycle that soil, and basically try to start our starts in it that next spring. Terrible idea.
Yeah, we had just gnats everywhere. It was not fun. Our grow room is in our house, obviously. It's where in a place that we live. So it's not fun having gnats. You know, you have a glass of water, all of a sudden you take a sip and there's a dead gnat floating in your glass of water. So.
Now, there's a certain amount of gnats that are going to be in soil, no matter what the manufacturing process is going to be. But by bringing in that old soil from the outside that's been there all summer long, that bugs and insects and everything else are living in, is not going to help the situation. Now, we also just didn't have gnats, we had aphids.
Yes.
Aphids is a soil, the eggs were in the soil, we reused the soil, and we had aphids on our peppers, on our kale, on our brassicas, and it really hampered a lot of the growth that we had.
So there's a way to fight those off, and it's a really simple solution.
And this is for aphids or gnats, whichever one you may have.
Yeah, so you can take some water and some dish soap, just like a couple drops of dish soap to the water, and then you just shake it up.
It's not going to hurt your plants when you spray on the plants.
No, and then you just spray them.
Now, with the aphids, if you're not certain if you have aphids, they're very tiny they're very tiny white bugs that will crawl on the stems. And they can be very invasive is what the problem is, and they really hamper the problem. Now, if you have aphids in your garden outside, the answer is ladybugs. Ladybugs will come in and completely eradicate the aphid problem, but obviously putting ladybugs in the house was probably not the answer, and we didn't do that.
Now, you can also, if you live in a climate where you can take the plants outside for a period of the day, say you live in a more southern climate where it's warmer during the middle part of the day, you can put them outside, and a lot of times they will fly away, or even birds will come and eat them. I guess you kind of risk them eating your plants as well, but at least that's an alternative if you live in a more southern climate. Right now, during the day, it's unfortunately not warm enough for us to leave our plants out.
So the lesson to this story is don't reuse old soil that you had outside.
Right.
It's good to be frugal, but don't be so frugal that it costs you in the long run like it did last year with us. And it hurt a lot of our plants' performance. So get good, reputable soil like we use with Sue's and plant your plants in it. They're healthy, they're happy. We don't have an aphid problem. We do have a few gnats, but that's a common occurrence with any type of soil that you're going to purchase. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving.
I'm Holly Baird.
And I'm Joy Baird. And this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewwisconsinvegetablegardener.com.